Hi guys, welcome back to another P3D version 5 video. We are today flying the Captain Sim 727-200 freighter, and we are flying for Canadian Xpress and specifically their cargo division. And we are for the first time ever on this channel, at least for P3D, located in or flying within South America. So we're going to be flying from Sao Paulo, Congo Haas Airport, probably butchering pronunciation of that, and basically flying from Sao Paulo to Rio de Janeiro and specifically to the Santos Dumont Airport. So it's going to be a very fun flight, since I've never flown through this between these two airports before, and this is how it looks in real life. The airport we are at now, the Sao Paulo one, it's not the biggest one in Sao Paulo, and but the same applies for Santos Dumont in Rio de Janeiro. But it's a very cool airport right here by the sea, and the reason why we're flying this is because I finally took the decision to buy a couple of Paulo Ricardo's airports. I'm gonna show you here on my Google Maps what was kind of included. I bought Joinville, and that one kind of only included this airport and some photoreal. And then I bought the Sao Paulo package, which includes quite a bit of photoreal and 3 airports. And then I got the Campinas, which includes the Campinas airport and some very nice photoreal. P3D4 native, I think Campinas, and it was P3D4 native as well, but works fine in 5. Sao Paulo is FSX, but works okay-ish. In the Sao Paulo we also got the Ribeirão Preto, so the airport and photoreal, so a bit further north. And then I got the Santos Dumont, which includes Rio photoreal and the main, or the domestic airport, not the international one. And there's a bunch of nice Brazilian freeware ones. I probably have like 40 airports that I haven't installed. So some of these yellow dots, which is airports that I don't have, I think these are only like payware versions, but there's supposed to be a lot of freeware ones, for example for Brasilia, and they look pretty good. So I'm probably going to be expanding my list of airports here in P3D in the coming months and years. But yeah, let's get started. Nothing too much else to say. I mean, this is FSX scenery that I've managed to get working in P3D. I would say the main interesting part is that it's kind of like the photoreal is used as the ground texture. I think that's an artistic choice. Works okay-ish. I would say the biggest gripe I have with Sao Paulo is the lack of autogen buildings. P3D can handle quite a bit more. And since this was based on FSX, yeah, I guess there wasn't that much, or you can't expect that much more, right? Because it wouldn't have been able to cope with the amount of autogen for vast reasons. I tried to create some own autogen, but I wasn't able to do it over this area, so that's why we have a lot of empty spaces. But it looks much better than having default Orbex. I was looking at that, you know, just skipping the photoreal. But yeah, it looks a lot better than default, and the buildings are, I guess, very, how would you say, in line with how it would look in real life. Very Brazilian, I guess, if you could call buildings that. But yeah, in terms of our walk around, I'm not gonna go all the way around, just looking a bit, admiring the very nice FSX or P3D version 3 model of the the Captain Sim 727, which happily works in P3D version 5. And it doesn't work out the bat, but my friend managed to tweak it. So if you own this aircraft, reach out to me, and I can help provide the relevant files to get it working in P3D version 5. But you need to own it, otherwise I would be sharing proprietary information. And here we have already a takeoff, a LATAM A390 maybe, or 20. There it goes. up high into the skies. And the gears are retracted. Very nice. So yeah, we have 50% air traffic, so that means we have a lot of air traffic. But let's jump in. The reason for that is because we'll have quite a bit of setup to do. Now I'm thinking out loud. Let me just see, is there anything? V1 callouts, we have the takeoff ref. We have the INS. Was there a way to get this to cold and dark though? Potentially there was, but I can't for the love of myself remember how that was done. I don't think it could be that it's only the battery now that's yeah, so I guess if we shut that we should be at a sort of cold and dark state, give or take. But you can see it's FSX textures, but it works pretty well, and you even have the interior, right? So that's pretty dope. So it's not a bad aircraft by any means, even though it's an old model. Of course, if the FlyJ Sim would ever release their 727 for X-Plane 12, I would be all over that, to be honest. But until then, I'm pretty happy to fly this bird. I'm not going to downgrade to X-Plane 11. I did fly a bit X-Plane 11 just myself, but it's not. X-Plane 12 has gotten so much better that I feel like, yeah, let's stay on that. But of course, if you're, fine with X-Plane 11, do get the 727. I think that's probably a great add-on based on what I've seen. Okay, let's see that we do this correctly. So we have the batteries. We want to get the external power. I think so. The external power switch is on. We have it connected. And yeah, that looks good. We'll then also have to do the the bleed. Make sure that's correctly set up. The packs, we can keep them as is for now. It's only relevant for engine start. We can keep that on auto. We can decrease here the rate. Set the cabin altitude. We're not going to be flying that high, so I think 8,000 is pretty fine for the cabin altitude. Yeah, this is some pretty okay light effects. We do, of course, have the APU, but we'll start that at a later stage. What we're instead gonna do is focus on getting the INS up and running. There's only one INS, but that's sufficient for our intents and purposes. And it's not included within the virtual cockpit though, so that's the only, I guess, sad part, but at least we have it as a 2D panel. As we're setting everything up though, we can put the navigation lights on, keep that off. Yeah, no smoking, and fasten seatbelt signs, they can stay on. Yeah, the stall works, flight recorder tests. Yeah, those are correctly set up. Don't think we need to tweak anything there. It's a bit hard to read the text, but yeah, that's just the way of an old add-on, right? Not too much to do. And here we have the fire tests. So we can make sure that works. We also have a look quickly at our viewpoints. Did I have any decent ones. I have a few ones that were okay. Let's check the outside perspective. Yeah, half decent. Not the best, not the worst. Like I mentioned, it's an old model, but it works pretty nicely. It also has a weather radar that's functioning, so I guess that's the GPS control panel, but we're not gonna need that. There we have another aircraft taking off, another LATAM, which I guess makes sense since we are in Brazil. But yeah, we're gonna be using Pilot ADC, not Pack X today. We can actually start, or let me actually, before we start, let's set up the INS, so we don't have to do that later on. And I think I remember, so we can put that to standby. We'll go to position. So we have position and waypoint, but we'll do the position one. And I think, yeah, like that. So south, 23, 38, 0 actually, yeah. So let's put that in. And then after that we have a west, 4, 6, 3924, 3924, insert. So there we go. And then what we'll do next is we'll start the alignment process. We're getting a red warning light for some reason. Trying to figure out why though. Because we are all set up correctly. It doesn't always really work. At least what I've noticed. Could of course, in the defense of the INS, be due to my own mistakes in how to set it up properly. But I mean, we have south and we have west. Those are set. So it should work. But let's leave it be for now. Potentially it could be... I don't think it's the synchronized because we're not supposed to use those generator just yet. Okay, the engine connected generators. Well, yes, something is potentially sabotaging our INS here. We'll check. Whilst we wait, we can though start setting up the rest of the waypoints. Then we'll see if this is working or not. It's not that many, to be honest. We have a Nibru. That's south. 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Insert. West. 4, 5. 2, 8. 1. Insert. The second one. Also gonna be south Kevin. That's gonna be 2, 3, 2, 7. 2, 3, 2, 7. 8. Insert. West. 4, 4, 5, 7, 1. Insert. Then the third one is gonna be, well, we'll put that as the airport itself. South 2, 2, 546. Insert west 43098. Insert. But yeah, let's see. It's gonna align now, so it's gonna take a bit of time. So I'm gonna pause and see if potentially this warning is also something I need to fix. So 1 second. Okay, we are back and we are now aligning. So basically, I just had to move back to standby and then back on, and it continued or started the alignment. The key is, of course, that we need to get past 65 down to 5. So let's see if it does that. But while we wait for that, we can start the boarding process by using GSX.
Crew bus is coming.
And I seem to have managed to request a crew bus, but oh well. Not the end of the world. And there we have a gold airline that's gonna take off. It's a bit funny to be flying Canadian Xpress down here in Brazil, but I felt like I wanted to do one of my virtual airlines. Otherwise I have such a hard time selecting which flight I want to do, etc. And by flying with these birds, it works relatively well. Or, you know, simplifies the thinking process for myself. Okay, still on 65. It does stay for that for quite some time. So let's see. Okay, let me see. I tried to do the immediate alignment because they have the multifunction hidden button, but I'm not sure if that works properly. So we shall see. If it will lead to anything faster. So far we're still stuck on 6.5 and the boarding has just begun. I wasn't able to remove the cargo we already have within, but I guess that's fine. While we wait a bit, I'm just gonna quickly show you from the exterior position kind of how the surrounding area looks, because we're not going to be able to show that, or I'm not going to be able to show that once we're flying away, because it looks like we have a pretty low ceiling in terms of the clouds. But as you can see, it's pretty nice. But you can see what I mean in terms of, you know, some of these autogen should be here, but they're now missing. It's not the end of the world, and some areas are better than others, but yeah, I do kind of like, or I do prefer seeing autogen than just flat surfaces. The thing is though, I went back and then tried to load, you know, without photoreal. It looks very bad, the Orbx one. It just looks wrong. It doesn't look like Brazil, it looks like Canada maybe. So that's the only downside, I would say. And that's why I, even though I don't have photoreal for all of the areas, but I have it for the main cities here down in South America. So should at least be somewhat nice. But let's see. But while we wait, I'm gonna also set up our flight plan here in Pilot to ADC. I'm also quickly gonna check if there is anything to showcase from the flight log. I'm thinking mainly in terms of the weather. Doesn't look to be anything interesting. We can just quickly check our departure weather. Broken at 040. View at 030. So it should be pretty fine. We might get some nice view, maybe, or some nice views. But maybe we'll see even the nice statue, right? That's up here in the hills, right? There we go. Must be this one, right? Yeah, there you go. Jesus. Jesus Christ. I think at least, right? They built it about, I guess, 60 years ago, right? Is it? Let me see. Rio, Jesus. Or was it older than that? 1922, 1931. Sorry, not 60 years ago. Basically 90 years ago by this point. But it's a big statue. This is how it looks in real life. So kind of cool, and a very big kind of tourist draw as well. We'll validate and file our flight plan though now, and then we'll connect to a pilot to ADC. And whilst we do that, I'm gonna check and pray to God that we're seeing any progress here. Still nothing though, still stuck on 65. I think it moves
At
forward,
4 knots.
but it can take a bit of time.
Visibility 6 miles.
So
4,000 broken.
what we'll do is
Temperature
switch to
26.
clearance delivery. Canadian 4003, ready to copy, IFR clearance. I will basically set
Canadian
all of this up,
4003
and
is
then
cleared to Sierra Bravo Romeo
what we'll
Juliet
do,
as filed.
I'll move this
Expect
to the
departure
side.
runway 17 right. Climb
17
and maintain
right.
flight level 100. Expect higher clearances 2
Too many
minutes
views.
after departure. Brasilia Center on 126.15.
What do we
Squawk
need to set?
4361.
4361
Canadian
squawk.
4003 is cleared to Sierra Bravo
Where's
Romeo
our
Juliet
squawk?
as filed. Climb and maintain flight level 100. Expect higher
10.
clearances 2 minutes after departure. Brasilia Center
Okay, we'll
on
put it up to
126.15.
10,000. 100.
Squawk 4361.
Canadian 4003 read back correct. QNH is 1014.
4361.
Contact South
There we
Polo
go.
ground on 121.9. When ready for pushback, enjoy your morning.
61.
QNH is 1014.
There we
Ground
go.
on
I will
121.9.
put this on so we don't
Canadian
forget.
4003.
And I'm gonna bring this up again. 65 still. It's got me a bit worried now. I was so hyped that it was moving forward, but now I'm not certain if I can feel as hyped. But I think everything else is correctly set up in terms of the electronics. I'm not sure why we would have any issue. Yeah, let's see. I'll pause again and then I'll bring you back once when we have this aligned. And we are back once again. That took much longer than I thought. So it got stuck at 65, but now it's going down. And I think the reason why it got stuck because I probably did something wrong the first time around. So the way to solve that is just reload your aircraft, get the battery and ground power set up properly, and then after that you should be able to set it up. And I would suggest using the fast alignment because it's not worth spending your time not doing it. And you press here, right, to do that. So just a heads up if you're looking into using the INS with this aircraft anytime in the future. Not sure if FSX would have the same problem. Hopefully not, but you never know, of course. Okay, we can leave the cabin altitude as is. And let me just check if there was anything else that I had set up, which I might have forgotten. Now, maybe the transponder. But, and this one, of course. 10,000. So yeah, a bit annoying to having to set this up again, but at least we got the INS, so I think that was worth it in the end. Yeah, fasten seatbelt and no smoking are on. We have navigation. Beacon lights are also on, maybe a bit early, but oh well, not the end of the world. Do we want to prepare for pushback and engine start? Yeah, we can do that, I think. I will also ask pilot to see Canadian 4003. ready for pushback and engine start.
Canadian 4003 pushback
there
and
we go.
engine start approved.
And we can also
Pushback and engine start approved. Canadian
move that to
4003.
nav. We'll start the APU. I don't think there's any additional steps. Potentially one issue could be if we don't have any center fuel. That's the only thing I could think of.
We are ready for pushback.
It's a bit weird though, because you're supposed to be able to, because I think the center tank is supposed to be emptied first, but now I'm a bit uncertain. So what I'm gonna do instead, yeah, because the center one is a bigger one. But what we'll do is, because we want to raise it up till, we want to have a fuel amount of 21.3. So I'll do something like this, I think. Then we can do maybe 60 on these. Yeah. And now it immediately worked, right? We don't need to transit these fuel. But yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. That it doesn't seem to work unless you have fuel in all. Maybe that's correct though. I'm not certain, but a part of me tells me that it's not. So oh well. Can't always get what you want, right? And we're taking off from runway 17 right. So we're going to be taxiing quite a long way, all the way to the opposite end. And now we have the auxiliary power. And I think we can check that by going to APU like that. We have that off, so what we can do is remove the external power. Oh, and now I missed. So we want to do nose to the right. But before we get started, what we need to do is close the packs, right? I think something like this is how you need to set it up, if I'm not mistaken, for the engine start to work. Was a while since I flew this bird. I basically only fly it when I can for Canadian Xpress cargo, so yeah. Should fly it more often though, to be fair, but yeah, it's hard when you have a bunch of nice aircraft that deserve being flown and you only have so little time. But I think we're ready. We got pushback clearance. So let's release the parking brakes. The emergency lights are armed. I think we can put continuous ignition on. Yeah, we can start the center engine first. Looks like it is starting. Put the fuel switch to start. Let's see if it works. Yeah. That's great to see actually. God, I'm very happy to have gotten the NS working. I was a bit afraid we would have to, or afraid and afraid, but a a bit annoyed that we might have to use the, what's it called, the localizer, or, you know, flying VORs. But yeah, that didn't end up being the case, so that's good news. One thing to consider actually is we've been waiting here for so long that all the other aircrafts have left. So yeah, and the weather has changed completely. I think I even at some point tried to speed up the whole process with the INS to see if the simulation rate could help us. Funnily enough, it did not. But yeah, so be it. Okay, we'll set the parking brake. Let's confirm a good engine start.
We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
The third engine seems to be running as it should. So we'll do the first engine. Or I thought we would do the first engine, but... Oh yeah, maybe I know why. That one. Now it should be running. So me going a bit ahead of myself there. Yeah, let's see if it starts properly. Yeah, seems to have started. That's good. We can hear it on the outside. Not see any smoke or anything, but that's fine. I'll have to set the trim. I'll just put it in the green band so I don't forget to do that at least. We can't use the pitch controller here, we'll have to use through the 2D panel, something to remember. But okay, at least now we should have the the generators, and if I remember correctly we need to sync them, right? So that's generator 1. What about the generator? Maybe we can put them all in the middle, right? Maybe that's the best. Could aim for a center spot. Come on. Now it should work, right? Yeah. There we go. Okay, going to the generators. We can trip, turn the APU off. We want to turn the bleed airs and the packs on. And we should be ready to go. But yeah, keep in mind this fuel thing, so it doesn't work as it should, based on what I saw when I quickly googled it on AI, in the sense that you have to have fuel in the middle tank. Could be though that I'm wrong, or not that I'm wrong, but that AI is wrong. One shall not trust it fully. I guess it just pulls data online, right? So if some moron said something, then we could believe that to be correct. I'm just gonna check the weather. 1015. Otherwise it looks good. Let's get taxi clearance. Canadian 4003, ready to taxi.
Canadian 4003 taxi to runway 17 right via Bravo.
Nav mode.
Hold short runway 17
The
right.
way it should work.
Taxi to runway 17 right via
Let's
Bravo.
see, can we get rid of
Hold
that?
short
We
runway
can.
17 right Canadian
Is
4003.
putting that to on. And then basically when we're using the heading switch, it should work. Something like that, if I'm not mistaken. We can also put the weather radar to on. So this should work. I'm pretty certain it should work. Even if it doesn't, you could, I guess, replace it with something else. We can turn that continuous ignition off. Window heat. I guess these are on. Yeah, these are the switches and these are just the check, I guess. Runway turn of lights and taxi lights. And they are a bit too bright, unfortunately. I haven't had time to tweak those myself. I will need to do that at some point though. Because it's much nicer to have it working. And then we can check the wipers. They are working as they should. Our taxi clearance is pretty much straight. Anything here? Nah, don't think so. Anything here that we need to set up? Yaw dampener, no, seems to be working. So we'll just release the parking brake. We'll park the windscreen wipers, and we'll start adding some thrust and get going. Say goodbye to GSX. The question is any of the traffic gonna come and land here, or maybe it will take a bit of time. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's add a bit of thrust. Takes a bit of thrust to get moving. There we actually have some traffic now. I'm gonna assume it's landed recently. Probably an A319, maybe. Looks pretty tiny. And let's actually do the V1. So here we have the card. And I think you're supposed to take off, is it flap 15 with this one? Stabilizer trim at 8.1. Okay, kind of at the maximum we could do. We have the VREF speeds, we have even the optimal EPR mode, 181. So let's use that. Not sure how good it is, but I'm gonna assume it's definitely better than not having anything to go on. Hell, it even has the date here. That's good. Optimal flight 290, but we're only gonna go up to 230. What else? We have the knee board. No checklist on that. Radio stack, animations control. Yeah, nothing we need to do there. There we have another aircraft coming in for landing. I think everything should be set up appropriately. Not sure what's going on with the weather radar, but could it have been the brightness maybe? Unclear, let's put it that way. And that's a goal. 737. This airport is so cool. That's why I decided to do this one, not the main one in Sao Paulo, even though I have that one as well. Probably a pretty old version of it though. I think Tropical Sim has a newer one. But I just felt like this airport
Canadian
is
4003
pretty dope.
contact Sao Paulo Tower on 127.15.
Let's put these on.
Tower on 127.15. Canadian 4003.
And here we can see by Rubens Gons, Paulo Ricardo, Magarao. Yeah, pretty dope. Put that in, I don't mind. Canadian 4003, ready for takeoff.
Canadian 4003
And one thing I'll want to do is keep this, I'm gonna lock it, so I'll always be seeing the autopilot on my right screen, just because it's gonna make this so much easier. Yeah, let's get ready to go. Okay, so clear for takeoff, 4361, squawking, maintain runway heading until above 3300 and then left to 08. So we're gonna turn a bit left. I think this makes sense. We're already at 2600, so we're pretty damn high up already. Okay, but 3300 and then 08, so we're gonna turn left. Does that make sense from pilot to ADC or from our... Yeah, it makes a lot of sense actually, considering our flight path. Yeah, we're gonna be turning eastwards. Okay, let's line up. Can you hide this thingy-mabob? Not what I can see. We now have... Let me just check. We have nav mode selected. That's always a good sign. Now the question is that enough? We have the altitude hold, and then we have the heading select. And the heading select is gonna be pretty key. I'm gonna put that on already. We might have to play around a bit to see how it's gonna work, but I'm pretty sure it's based on heading select. Basically, it will control that. Okay, let's see. We're gonna... What's it complaining about? Oh, it was the trim. I think we're just outside the envelope. Okay, we're pushing it quite a bit more, the pressure ratio. I'm not sure actually, just seeing how slow we're getting off the ground. I'm not sure if this is it considering our altitude? We might actually need to use everything we have, right, to get off. So I'm gonna floor it. No way we would be able to make it with a 181 pressure ratio. Hell, we might not even be able to make it with this. Okay, let's V1 rotate up. Okay. Woohoo! We just did it, Aero Sucre style. Okay, getting that gear up. Whew. Might have hit the... Might have done a tail strike there. Okay, V2 plus 10. I'm gonna trim down. I think we're too much in trim. Like crazy amounts. We really don't need to push it that much. Okay, 3300. We're gonna turn to 080. Okay. We can go to flaps 5. I think going with flaps 15 though was the right call. Okay, and we're turning leftwards.
Canadian 4003 contact Brasilia Center on 126.15.
Center on 126.15.
What happened there?
4003.
Did we lose an engine?
Center Canadian 4003. Climbing to flight level 100.
I think we lost an engine.
Canadian 4003, good afternoon.
Okay, we're getting it back. Am I pushing them maybe a bit too hard? Okay, let's let's be a bit careful. Okay, we still have most of our engines now. We lost our vertical speed as well. Ah, because we lost our... There we go. Now it's working again. Okay. Whew. God damn. Okay, let's see if we can do this now. We are gonna ask for auto flight. We're gonna do altitude hold. And actually, I don't think we want to do altitude hold, do we? I'm gonna check if it... I think we can actually trim it ourselves. Okay, so I'm gonna pull back a bit on the throttle. We are at flap 0. Now we are climbing. Now the question is, are we following heading select? And the question is also, what is heading select following? But it seems to be going in the right direction. Okay, let's climb. Okay, put this to standard. Okay, we're going towards 10,000 feet. We can turn these lights off. Saying goodbye to Sao Paulo. You can see kind of the problem here with what I was saying with the autogem missing. Rio de Janeiro is gonna look much better because it's P3D version 5 native. But we'll see some land class in between. Okay, let me see. We have altitude alert here at 10,000. That's fine. Any higher clearances yet? Let's see now if this changes. Yeah, so the INS is working. That's great to see. And I'm thinking we can do like
Canadian 4003, climb and maintain
an
flight
extra
level
thumbnail there,
150.
just to make sure we have one.
Climb and maintain flight level 150.
And I need to go and check my sound settings because for some reason they're always super low. Okay, climb and tail flight level 150. I'm gonna put this up to 230, which is what we're aiming for. I'm gonna add a bit more thrust. But yeah, a bit cool with the engine actually dying on me. Luckily it didn't completely die on me, but yeah, still pretty dope. Okay, we're about 10,000. We can turn off the landing lights. Fuel, etc. is looking fine. Generators are set up correctly. And we are climbing. And here the photo reel starts looking better because we're getting so high that it doesn't really matter if it's autogen or not. You won't be able to kind of discern if there is anything. But of course it's a bit of a pity. It would be nice with some autogen, to be honest. Or at least I consider autogen to be kind of nice. Here we can see where the... I think this is Orbex land class, but it actually doesn't look too bad here. So maybe I've been a bit too harsh on it. Yeah, I'll need to check that. Maybe it's not worth having the autogen actually for Sao Paulo. We'll need to check. Okay, 13,000. Gonna floor it a bit more. Let's have a look at how our cargo is looking. Looking pretty good down here, very empty though. So I guess we don't have anything loaded.
Maintain flight level 190.
Maintain flight level 190. So we're just continuing to climb, continuing to follow the INS. And let's see what we get in terms of our in terms of the approach, or yeah, I guess the approach. We have only 169 nautical miles to go, so this should go pretty quickly. I never realized actually that Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro was this, or were this close. I always figured they were further away, but I don't know why. I mean, now when I see where they're located, it makes sense, right? So who knows? Who knows? Okay, 16,000. I feel like we could be... Maybe we need to trim down a bit. That should help us speed up. So let's get some speed here. We'll climb a bit slower and trade the slowness for speed. I'm a bit worried about the RPMs though, they're quite high. Same with the pressure ratio. Question is, does that get updated? Takeoff and landing, optimal, EPR, 2.0. Yeah, it's kind of... Oh, is that the one I have set? Did I even check? God, maybe I didn't even check. Maybe I forgot to check the optimal one. I just went to what was being said there. Stupid F mistakes. Okay, we're now speeding up. 29 minutes, but it's gonna get lower and lower. And we can, I think, climb even slower than what we're doing now. I was actually gonna choose between this aircraft or the A319. Considering the INS trouble I had, I almost felt like I did a bad choice. However, it's always lovely to fly the 727. It's a great fun. I think the Captain Sim one is very nice in the sense that it's kind of light, but with some of the fixes, it's very, very nice. How did I manage to... Can you trip this somehow? Okay, but I guess it's not key to have... Like, it's fine to lose one of the bleeders. Okay, we tripped that. So we got the bleeder back on. Now we just need to...
Climb and maintain flight level 230.
Climb and maintain flight level 230. Canadian 4003.
Canadian 4003 expect vectors to a visual straight in approach
Ah, but then it was
to
tripped
runway
again.
20 right
Goddamn.
at Santos
Maybe I need to keep it
Dumont
closed when I'm
Expect
doing
vectors
that.
to visual straight in approach to runway 20 right. Canadian 4003.
Or maybe it's not possible. Oh well. Not the end of the world. But I guess something to keep in mind. Guess it would have been more harmful if we were actually flying passengers, but I think you can fly with some of those bleeds off. It's not like you have to. Okay, we're getting a visual straight in approach to runway 20 right. Now, I haven't flown to runway 20 right ever. We have, let's see what we even have as options. We have a localizer. If it's a visual one, is there even a plate for that? There's an NDB one. 420. Quite a bit of these different NDB ones. Nothing visual. We have a GPS one. What's this one? VOR, NDB, DME. Yeah, but that's from a different angle. Yeah, you can fly because there's a VOR kind of opposite of it. Okay, but we'll just follow. I mean, it's gonna be vectored in for a visual, so that should be fine. Question is minimums, right? What do you use in terms of minimums if you're doing that sort of an approach? I guess best would be to select maybe the NDB ones. Here we have a localizer one. So this is an offset localizer one. We'll use that
Canadian
600.
4003 descend and maintain flight level 160.
Descent and maintain flight level 160. Canadian 4003.
Okay, and our top of descent is a bit further ahead, so we don't need to rush it just yet, but soon enough. Okay, 600 is gonna be our the altitude we wanna keep as our minimums. Oh, and we did actually. You wanna know the fun fact? We haven't actually been following the the INS, because when I was tripping those generators, I actually managed to close the autopilot. That's lovely. That's a bit funny actually. Okay, let's actually descend a bit. But here you can see some of the negatives with the orbit land class. Like, what is this water puddles? Here it looks a bit better. I think in some areas they've used a bit of photoreal, right, to upgrade. I'm gonna be honest though, I've seen a lot worse in terms of land class, so I'm not gonna complain about this too much. Okay, let's see, we're gonna slow down a bit more, so we're in the green. But yeah, we're getting down towards 23,000. We only have 122 nautical miles to go. So technically I guess we could already almost start seeing a Rio de Janeiro. Yeah, our speed is really picking up. Is there anything I forgot here though? I guess if you wanted the panel lining. Yeah, pretty bright. fuel heat. Don't think we would need that now. We don't need the altitude alert. Okay, we have an alert there, so technically maybe with the generator thing, maybe something got messed up. Shouldn't be too big of a problem, but of course we should take that into consideration. Seeing these numbers tell me that there's some error, specifically the O3, but let's see how it goes for now. It does seem like we're still flying the INS though, appropriately. I'm gonna put on the altitude hold, but we'll soon start descending. Let's see if we switch towards the last one, which is the airport itself. So far nothing, but we're not yet at Kevin. This seems to have started by itself, so that's good. Okay, we're turning to the left, so at least the INS is still working, even if there's an error. We have some nice clouds. Nothing spectacular, but looks okay. I wonder if visibility might be a problem though. Let's have a look. No, it all looks pretty fine. The wind is also kind of perfect. And let's actually start descending. We'll just do this altitude set to 10,000, just because that will be a bigger problem. Okay, let's see if we can start descending. Maybe not that much. — 2,000 feet per minute should be sufficient. And I guess we're category 2 certified for ILS, so that's good. Okay, we're getting down now. 21. Maybe I need to get the photoreal for this. Would make the flying here nicer. I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna get photoreal for all of Brazil. It's like 250 gigabytes. It's a bit overkill, maybe. Perhaps. I would think so, at least. We could put in the localizer though. 1110. Let's see if we're picking up anything. 196. Should it be a intercept 132 from the NDB? Offset localizer. Okay, it's offset by 0.8 degrees. Okay, so there is such a localizer approach. Well, let's keep that then on for now. Let's just see if we have it activated. 111.10 seems to be there. Doesn't seem like we can't seem to switch the course as of now, but okay. Okay, let's start slowing down quite a bit. We want to get down to 250 knots. I think the photoreal might not here, right? But it's probably starting here soon enough. I want to actually check where it would start. Yeah, it's gonna start here. So this
Canadian
Ile de Grande, I think,
4003,
is
descend and maintain flight
still
level
just
090.
land class, but then after that it's gonna be
Descent
for the
and
real. But
maintain
I
flight
mean,
level
with this kind of weather,
090.
with this atmospherics, you don't really notice it.
Canadian
It's a bit like an X-plane, right?
4003.
You don't think about that it's land class. It's not like you immediately notice it. So weather can play a big role. Okay, 090. Let's put that in here. You can test all the lights here as well. That's good. Captain Sim was a pretty damn good developer back in the day. Not gonna lie. Not saying it's the best aircrafts ever made, but yeah, pretty good. Okay, we're almost at 250 knots. How much do we have to go? I'm going to pilot ADC, 73 nautical miles. Now I'm really looking forward to doing this approach. Hopefully we don't botch the landing. I really want to upload this to my YouTube channel because at least when I load it in just to test the airport, it just looks fabulous. Like he's done a really good job, Paolo Ricardo. In terms of missed approach, let me see. Climbing left, turn to 4,000 feet, heading 1110 to intercept 132, bearing from PP and DB inbound. Okay, that's fine. Still not picking up anything from the localizer. Where is it placed? Okay, there's an NDB or ADF though we could put in 415. Let's put it in just for fun. 4 1 5. And now the question is, can we see it? 415, that should be the Payol one. Maybe we're still too far away to pick it up. Would be interesting though if we were able. Here's actually the mode selector, so I realized we do actually have a working flight director, just me that can't really do it properly or not noticing it.
4003 QNH is 1009. Descend and
1009er.
maintain 4,000 feet.
QNH is 1009.
4,000 feet.
Descend and maintain
Let's hope that's
4,000 feet.
reasonable request. Don't want to end up in a mountain. Luckily we have the visuals, right? So we can see where we're at. Okay, gonna add a bit of thrust, but not too much. So we want to stay below 250, right? Here you can see the benefits of having a land class though, in the sense that you do have the trees, etc. There's basically, well, not autogen, but there is buildings and things are spawning, right? The negatives are of course that everything kind of looks the same and you don't really get the... But you know, some things works pretty well. You don't get weird, like with photoreal where you could have like shadow effects, right, from the mountains. Which, I mean, of course they will have shadows, right? But always a shadow on one side, for example. Here we have some tankers. We're now descending to 9,000, down to 8,600. And now we're getting back to photoreal. Here you can already see the bit of a difference. More trees, I guess, but more spread out. Let's see if we remember to get a nice picture. We could use cinematic mode, right? Nah, but that's not it's just gonna end up badly. We need to focus. Still 52.8 nautical miles. But I'm gonna stop using pilot ADC now. We're gonna trust the info we're getting. I'm though gonna check one thing, and that's their volume. 'Cause their volume seemed very... It was like super hard to hear them. So I increased it a bit.
Climb maintain 4004 Bravo.
I'm a bit afraid though. We're getting quite low, so we would need to be vectored around the mountains. I do think they've considered that, but you never know. So starting here, kinda, this should all be... Should be photo reel now.
Good morning, up to 320, we're out at 6.7, JetBlue 1604.
I'm gonna take another picture. I wanna decide on my thumbnail this time. See all the nice options. Okay, we're almost at 250. Gonna slow down a bit. Maybe we can descend a bit quicker. The fun part about flying old aircraft is definitely always gonna be the fact that you're doing more. You have to think more. It's just more fun. You could do more planning than I have. I mean, using the INS is a bit of a cheat in this sense, but yeah, I mean, well, maybe not a cheat, but you know, it does help. But even if you don't use it, use the localize, it's kind of the same, right? It's even more manual, and that's part of the fun, right? Because then it becomes a bit of a game. You're trying to fly it in a good way, which is not always the case, I guess, or it doesn't always end up being the case. You might do something wrong, but you'll learn from your mistakes. I would say the hardest part though in flight simming, and I'll take this from the, what's his name, XB72, is the fact that you have to remember all these quirks with all these different aircrafts. It's not that big of an issue, I think, in the more modern sims now. They're more well developed, less bugs, more in depth, but with these older ones, remembering all the quirks, goddamn, it's a work on its own.
Canadian 4003.
Okay, what are they saying?
Climb and maintain 5,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 5,000 feet.
Climb?
Canadian 4003.
Okay. Okay, let's climb and maintain 5,000 feet, if that's what they want us to do. I'm gonna add quite a bit of thrust. Maybe don't need to climb too much. But that's very interesting. Why would you want us to climb? Like, there must be a reason. Okay, now it's gonna load. Because we're getting all this autogen at once, probably the airport as well. Okay, we'll go with the altitude hold. Gonna troll down a bit. And I seem to have forgotten the landing lights, so let's put those on. My own mistake. Are they built in to the aircraft? That's pretty cool. Didn't realize that. To help myself, I'm gonna put on all the lights that we have. It's a bit early, but it's just gonna make this much easier flight. at least from my end. And there we can see him, Jesus. We need to get those. We need to get those vectors pretty soon. But I'm gonna trust them. I'm gonna trust them. Not, you know. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're at 5,000 now. So let's stay at 5. Do we need to arm the speed brake? No, doesn't seem to be necessary. Any auto brake? Don't think so. Do this work during the day? Nah. They do not, that's fine. Here we can see a very nice kind of photo reel, you know, hand placement of trees, etc. It looks very nice. Not gonna lie, it actually looks very nice. We're pitching up a bit, but we're maintaining pretty good speed, I would say. Oh, I really want to get a thumbnail with Jesus. That would be a good one. Might be a bit hard though. I'm hoping at least we'll be vectored. I think we're flying a bit above these tops, but just a tiny bit. Don't want to end up. At least we have the GPWS. So let's see how, if those react, in case we're not being given vectors soon enough. Look at these autogen though, this is great. This is actually very nice. This might be some of the best autogen I've, in terms of placement, I've seen. I would say the only negative is maybe the fact that some of these look a bit out of place from the rest. I think it's because they've gotten more details, right?
Canadian 4003, descend and maintain 2,400 feet, turn left to heading 050.
Turn left, heading 050.
Runway 20 right at Santos Dumont Airport. QNH is 1009 at Santos Dumont Airport.
I need to check that voice thing though, because it's so low now.
Descent and maintain 2,400 feet. Turn left to heading 050 vectors to the visual straight-in approach for runway 20 right. QNH is 1009. Approach on 129.0. Canadian 4003.
Let's see if I can quickly pull this off. Ah, nah, I'm not gonna be close enough. But I did actually like this viewpoint. So let's take this. I think this might be the thumbnail.
4003, good afternoon.
It was a very nice place. Okay, we are descending 2,400. I don't want to descend more than this, I think. Let's try to raise their volume more if possible. Sounds. Now we have the right output devices. Not sure why the volumes are so. Okay, I've raised the volume now, so let's see if that helps. Okay, let's just quickly check before we start. We're maybe going a bit slow. I'm gonna add a bit of thrust. But there we have the man, myth, the legend, Jesus, or at least then
Canadian 4003 turn left to
version
heading
of
045.
or a stone version of him.
Heading 045.
Yeah, look at
Canadian
this.
4003.
This is actually really pretty. Very nice. Okay, let's see. What did they tell us? Heading 045. Okay, I need to listen to these. Okay, 045. The localizer is saying that we have 11 DME. And I think we can now actually see the ADF because it's actually moving, so that makes sense. The ADF is supposed to be actually based on this placed here at the bridge. Not sure. Yeah, I think it's seeing that, but can't say for 100% though. But yeah, look at
Canadian
this. Looks very nice.
4003 turn left to heading 040.
Heading 040. Canadian 4003.
Now the thing is, they can have us flying like this for a while, but we do have a mountain ahead of us, so we'll need to turn pretty shortly. Okay, we're almost at 400, 700. Because we're gonna stop descending, I'm gonna add a bit of thrust already. 600. 500. Adding a bit more thrust. Almost 400, almost 400, almost 400.
Canadian 4003 turn left to heading 035.
Heading 035. Canadian 4003.
These guys, they really want to make sure we crash into these mountains. God damn. I hope they know what they're doing. I mean, I have no clue. This airport, this is the main one. It also looks pretty nicely placed. I mean, that's it's not that different from the airport that we're gonna be landing at, right? Which is located here. But come on, guys, you need to give us some hope, right? We can't be flying into the mountains. Give us, God, I probably would have flown into the mountains if I didn't have the visual. We need to turn right soon enough. Okay, I can't trust them anymore. I'm gonna put in the approach mode. I need to see what they are vectoring us, or how they're envisioning this vectoring, because we need to turn ASAP.
Canadian 4003
Finally.
turn right to heading 050.
Heading 050.
Come on,
Canadian
we need to turn more.
4003.
Canadian 4003 turn right to heading 110.
110.
Turn right to heading 110. Canadian 4003.
They left it just till the
Canadian
end.
4003 heading is 110.
Yeah, I know heading is 110. That's what I'm trying to accomplish, but question is, will I? Hopefully.
Canadian 4003 turn right to heading 170.
170.
Runway is 4 o'clock 16 nautical miles. Report field in sight.
Turn right to heading 170. Will call field in sight. Canadian 4003.
Canadian 4003 you were garbled. Please say again.
Were we garbled? Or maybe the... Okay, so we'll need to let them know when we have the field in sight. The course should be 196. And that's of course with a small deviation. I think we have the field in sight, right? It's 20. We're landing at 20. I think there's only one runway, right? So there we go. Okay, let's add flaps 1 or 2. Canadian 4003, field in sight.
Canadian 4003 cleared for visual approach runway 20 right. Contact Rio Tower on 118.7.
Okay, let's
Cleared for visual approach runway 20
start
right.
slowing down a bit.
Tower on 118.7, Canadian 4003.
What's it gonna be, like 70 nautical miles? Then we wanna descend. We're at 11 now.
Tower
Okay, we can
Canadian
clearly see it's the left one.
4003 on 11-mile final for runway 20 right.
Canadian
flaps
4003 winds are to 1 tree at 7 knots.
Going with gear
Clear to
down.
land runway 20 right.
Cleared to land runway 20 right. Canadian 4003.
Flaps 15.
Flaps 15. Think we can.
Flaps 25.
Flaps 25. Let's go flaps full. And we can. Let's see. I'm gonna place. We can do like this. I think this should be perfect.
Flaps 40.
So we'll shut off the autopilot, and we'll do this manually. Now let's have a quick look here. What's it telling us? So for the landing. Sorry, this is the VRF. These were the V1s. 1, 3, 4. Okay, so we can definitely go quite slow. I'm gonna. Yeah, we're on flaps full. Look at this amount of boats. They do seem to hover though. That's a bit funny. Okay, let's turn a bit to the left. A very nice approach, not gonna lie. But those boats... Ah, now they're back. Okay, so maybe it was just a weird angle I was coming in from somehow. Okay. Stuff happens. Shit happens. Ah, this is gonna be fun. Let's hope we can do this. Let's hope we can do this. Okay, slowing down. Okay, 160, 1000. Yeah, we're a bit low. I'm gonna trim up a bit. We don't need to descend too much. We don't need to pitch too much up, but just a bit, so we can get back on the right glide slope. Approaching minimums. Continue. They're gonna slow down a bit more. And we need to get down, you know, pretty. We can't float. So that's something to keep in mind.
400.
Okay, now we're way too low.
VREF plus 15.
Trim up a bit. Let's see if we can. Yeah, we're getting.
200.
Come on, Gold, please don't. I mean, these AI aircraft, they have no respect for for landing aircraft. I think this is the second time in goddamn AI aircraft. Goddamn. 100.
40. 30. 20. 10.
Okay.
Reverse thrust available.
American 1053 back here runway via Delta.
Are we able to stop in time?
69.
Canadian
Hallelujah.
4003 contact Rio ground on 121.7.
Did I forget to use my
Ground
speed
on
brakes? Yeah, maybe that's why I got so tight.
121.7. Canadian 4003.
Brand 9 cross runway Bravo.
What the hell is that? That must be some... That's some weird stuff. I need to have a look at that. Maybe some meshing consistency or something. Haven't seen that before. Oh, but I'm happy I managed to. Oh, now we're getting slam dunked. But that aircraft, that was late. God damn. That's yeah. It wouldn't have made that in real life. That was that would have been straight into the water. Did we though land on the wrong runway? We landed at 20. No, I mean this looks like a. I mean it must have been the right one, right? I mean no way we landed on the wrong one. Yeah, exactly. 20 right is not used anymore. It's just 20. 20 left. So close to each other as well. What was the point with having these two? Maybe to do all, I guess, takeoff and landing. Yeah, I need to have a look at that. What's going on there? It's a dark mountain. Maybe Dan, who has some kind of mods with some fixes, will have something we can use. Okay, I'm gonna turn off these turn off lights because they're horrendous. Clear to land, we got that. And then we should contact ground for taxi request. I forgot to do
Ground.
that.
Canadian
But look at this airport.
4003 ready to taxi.
Here you can kind of see the development from FSX to P3D, and this is the only one of his airports that is P3D version 5 native, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I mean LATAM, you have, I mean this is great looking scenery. This is one of the best ones I've seen for P3D version 5. I mean the only negative is that black block. I have no clue what that is. It doesn't look good at all. So I'll need to fix that. Could be something on my end. What's that? Oh, maybe that's the... Maybe that's where the ADF signal is. Could be. I was like first, that looks like a oil platform, but it can't be, right? Oh well. Oh well, oh well. Okay, let's get the APU started again. We'll turn left here.
Qatari 8164, your spot is 709 whiskey, 709. Copy.
Can we see what our landing rate was? Touchdown 245. Hey, that was pretty good. What's that lighting everything up? Is it the taxi light? Yeah, let's close those. Okay, so we should soon have the APU up and running. Oh, wait, we're a cargo plane. Why the hell did we... Well, okay, let's just do it for the sake of it. I don't think a cargo plane would. Maybe we could have parked here, to be honest, or on the other one. But yeah, I just felt like I need to go to the gate. Hilarious though. Let's shut them all. I'm just gonna get this set up so we have it all ready, and then we'll shut all the engines. But yeah, 245, that was pretty good landing rate. I'm pretty happy. We are in the arrive phase, so that's good. We can put in great flight. Technically we should put in great flight, apart from the big black blob that we see here. But, you know, shit happens. So what I'll do now is I'll stop the log. will save the log, you never know. I will send the log. And we can close this. And then what we'll do now, as the next step, we'll watch the replay. 260, not far enough. I think maybe 340 would be perfect. Yeah, here we go. Here we're coming in for the landing.
American 9017.
And
Continue to gate 22.
yeah, it's a good one. And there we could see our thrust reversers being activated, everything going on. Focusing on stopping on time. And we did. We did stop on time. Wow, look at the city. Maybe we should have put this with Jesus there on top. But nah, let's not try to do more thumbnails. I think the one we got was pretty good. But yeah, I would say the landing was great. The approach was a bit iffy. I went a bit too low. I didn't maintain a kind of nicely continuing descent. So that, you know, that's on me. But this was still a fun flight. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. And otherwise, yeah. Until next time. Bye bye.